All right, all praises be to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakadash, Yahweh being who people call God, Yahweh Shai who being who people call Jesus. Double honors to the apostles over the Great Millstone Church. Salutations as well to the elder bishops and the rest of the elders in Akim, also the branch to hold forth this true word for true life. All right, so coming back with another lesson, and this lesson it's pretty much going to be another update on you know, the war there's a greater war that's brewing, and that's gonna be in the form of a rounding up, you know, of Jacob. All right, a pinnacle of Jacob's trouble. Pinnacle, you know, a climaxing point of Jacob's trouble. All right, which is when these damn devils and these so-called military troops basically try to, you know, sack Jerusalem again. All right, because this happened before. And you gotta know and understand that, and you know, it ain't no do thing under the earth. So right now, just like back then, right, we're under Roman subjugation. When Jerusalem got sacked, you know, in 70 A.D. from our homes and so forth and so on, and the Messiah even confirmed this happened. What was going on then? We was under Roman subjugation. All right. So before I get into this, let's actually prove that real quick. Let's go to Matthew. In fact, let's go to Mark 13. All right, and we're gonna jump down to the 14th verse. All right, let's go. Matter of fact, let's do this too. Let's read this in the GNT. Mark 13. And what verse is that? It's 14. All right. The awful horror. All right. It says, yeah, we can read this. Mark 13 and 14. You will see in the GNT, you will see the awful horror. You will see the awful horror, right? As you see the quote unquote, it says standing, it's talking about what? The abomination of desolation. Daniel prophesied that. Daniel's prophesying about, giving a vision on that Yahweh Shah came and confirmed that hadn't happened yet, but was gonna happen after Yahweh Shah, who people call Jesus, was crucified. What is the abomination of desolation? When basically Jake rounded up Jerusalem, sacked, and the temple's no more. You know, we put out our homes, all of that. That's basically what happened. Do the Gentiles, the heathens, starting with Esau, Edom, trying to destroy us. All right, that's the awful horror, as it says in the GNT, referring to, in the KJV, was known as the abomination of desolation. All right, and when you go into something being desolate, that word desolate, right? Let's get this too real quick. What does that word desolation mean? It basically means a ruined city. This is the word desolation.
Strong's G 2050. Erremosis. Erremosis.
Okay, and we're gonna go to Luke 21 too. It's the spirit. So let's go. Matter of fact, let's see this real quick. Yup. We're going to the root word you get to make desolate, lay waste, to ruin, bring to desolation, to despoil one, strip of her treasures. You see? Well, let's get a little more specific. Desert, waste. Used, it says is used of places. So when this word is brought out, the outline of biblical usage says is used of places. That word desolation. is referring to a place being brought to desolation. You know, basically being made a wilderness. And that's what our communities that we know here, our cities, is gonna turn into. That's second Esdras in the 15th chapter. So let's go to this in the Google.
Desolation.
A state of complete emptiness or destruction. All right. Let's jump down. The condition of a place, which by hostile, this is the Oxford English Dictionary, which by hostile ravaging or by natural character is unfit for habitation. See that? A ruined state. So it's talking about our damn neighborhoods being ravaged to where everything basically gonna like bandos. You know, everybody gonna have a goddamn majority. Jake gonna have a damn like a you know, when the feds rage, or like a raid gonna happen basically. It says the act of this is the Webster's Dictionary from 1828. Desolation, the act of desolating, destruction, or expulsion of inhabitants. Inhabitants deals with what? A city, a place, neighborhoods. It says desolation, an act or instance of destroying or devastating land, population, community. So that's what happened to us. It says, I'm gonna read this last one in Cambridge Dictionary. Back then, that is. The condition of a place that is empty with no living things or nothing pleasant in it. So they're gonna come fuck our stuff up. And it's gonna get messed up because Jake gonna fight back. So it's gonna be bad. It says, it was difficult to describe the emptiness, the desolation of the area. So it's talking about a place, as it said. Now, let's go ahead. I'm gonna hold Luke 21, because let's go make it clear. But let's go to this GNT. So the awful horror, right? You will see the awful horror standing in the place where he should not be. Note to the reader, understand what this means. Then those who are in parentheses, then those who are in Judea, this is all that is what they added, that parentheses part. So it's really you, this is Yahushua speaking, right? You will see the awful horror standing in the place where he should not be. All right? Niggas in your house, in your neighborhood, your community. That's quote unquote, quote off quote. You know, without the translation, obviously. And then now we jump here, quote unquote, this is Yahushua again speaking. Then those who are in Judea must run away to the hills. Someone who is on the roof of a house must not lose time by going down into the house to get anything to take along. Because they're going to be in your house, desolating it, and you going to get desolated. Someone who's in the field must not go back to the house for a cloak. How terrible it will be in those days for women who are pregnant and for mothers with little babies. Pray to God that these things will not happen. Pray to Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, that these things will not happen in the winter. So it ain't praying to him that it ain't gonna happen. He ain't say that, because it's gonna happen. It gotta happen. That's part of the vision. He just said pray it don't happen in the winter, because the Lord never specified on that. All right? For the trouble of those days will be far worse than any the world has ever known from the very beginning when God created the world until the present time, nor will there ever be anything like it again. Now, but the Lord has reduced the number of those days. If he had not, nobody would survive. For the sake of his chosen people, however, he has reduced those days. Now, a lot was just said right there, but this already happened, right? During Roman subjugation. All right. Another thing that today has in common with it, we knew we were Israelites. You know, we somewhat had the temple, even though it had been destroyed all those times. You know, we just rebuilt it. that temple is only symbolic for us anyway. And that's what we doing. We just rebuilt the temple. Jake just now trying to get back to the heritage and culture and all that. But now, you know, here come these devils now trying to pin stuff on us, you know, and coming down with great wrath. But just like then. All right? So, knowing that the thing that has been is that what shall be, you got that. Ecclesiastes 1. And I'm going to jump to the 9th verse in the GNT. What has happened before will happen again, and what has been done before will be done again. There is nothing new in the world. All right? Look, they say here is something, quote unquote, new, but no, it has all happened before, long before we were born. No one remembers what has happened in the past, and no one in the days to come will remember what has happened between now and then. So pretty much we was all there in the same predicament, you know, dealing with the same people, which is a formula like 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. So it's the same thing now. You know what I'm saying? We back again in a 1 + 1 situation, you know, good against evil, you know, subject to payments, while knowing we Israelites to these damn devils, these so-called white people, these Idumeans, these Edomites, who, just like back then, when the same thing was going on, were the Romans then being the Romans now. You know? Period. Because the Roman Catholic Church basically run every damn thing. You know? They have influence with the kings of the earth, dealing with those 3 unclean spirits, those 3 frogs in the book of Revelation. So, but that's a whole nother thing, man. But point is, we was once there with those devils, we here again. It's gonna be the same thing. So what we're gonna do now is, matter of fact, I'm gonna end on what I was reading. So we're gonna come to Luke 21 and 2. I'm gonna just close this on one in the book of Maccabees. This is Luke 21 and 2. It says, Yahushua speaks of the destruction of Jerusalem. Now check this out. This is the 20th verse. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you will know that it will soon be destroyed. Exactly. So once you see them armies and shit in your neighborhood, you gonna know, like, yeah, you know, there has been a prophet among you. Yeah, this the Lord was talking about. You know, yeah, it's finna go down. You know what I'm saying? That's how you gonna have the abomination of desolation even set up to begin with. Real quick, this is 2nd Ezra in the 15th chapter. I don't want to say like 16. It says 2nd Ezra 15. I'm gonna start at 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up, see that, and fight against another, and swords in their hands. See that? So you can see that in the forms of, you know, these. This is basically Jake trying to fight back when these ones come in. You know, they sent in, and it ain't gonna go down like, you know, how a lot of people think. It's gonna be a lot of supernatural things take place. You know, a lot of those people gonna get put to death working for these damn devils. It's just not gonna go how Esau really think it's gonna go. You know, but it's still gonna play out, you know, evilly what he kind of wanted, but all for the purpose of the Lord. And it's to really take his ass down, you know, and punish these hard-headed ass niggas. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. So, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. So it's going to be an insurrection, a rising up. One's going to fight back. That's how you're going to have the cities get destroyed. So it says what? For a man, these neighborhoods that it says, for a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, because the place you once used to go, it ain't gonna be no more. Everything gonna be damn destroyed. You ain't gonna be able to go over here to this neighborhood, this block, this bitch go see this nigga. It ain't gonna be none of that because damn near everybody gonna be goddamn dead or carted off in a concentration camp. That house would be destroyed. Nigga probably dead on the block because it said the Lord said what these people gonna be as dung in the street. Niggas gonna be getting left where they got found at. And that goes for these troops too. It says for the pride, it says for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. Exactly. This damn devil thing he cracking down to make America great again, but it ain't doing nothing, you know, because they see they losing. Basically, they gotta make America great again because they see they losing it. They losing grip of it. So his response is coded as make America great again, but in the Bible is revealed to be him coming down with wrath because he knows he has a short time. They're losing America. That's what it means. But since they so prideful and can't admit it, they're just doing things that's just speeding the process up even quicker. You know? It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses. See that? It's crazy because you got cops that live in the same neighborhoods as you that's probably going to be on these forces, you know? And he going to have to be sent to destroy the same houses he lives amongst, you know? It says, and shall spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. So that's the point. So coming back to Luke 21:2, when you see Jerusalem and the GNT surrounded by armies, then you will know that it will be soon destroyed. Then those who are in Judea must run away to the hills. Those who are in the city must leave, and those who are out in the country must not go into the city. See that? It says the Spirit gonna guide us though, you know? And if you are to be carted off, hey, you be faithful unto death. You know, you either gonna have to die in that mug or the Lord gonna get you out. Somebody gonna get some power or something. These people got life fucked up. The Lord not letting nobody ride off into the sunset but the elect. And the elect only get in there through this great tribulation. It's the only way to get to the kingdom. We gotta go through this devil. You know what I'm saying? Ourselves, you know, our own flesh and, you know, emotions and what we want to think, and we gotta we gotta run through that shit and just run to the Lord, to the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which would be that strong tower in that day, no matter what it resulted in. And if you die for the Lord, He bring you right back. You know you gotta die any damn way. So these mothers can't make us fear shit. You know, ain't nobody to fear but the Lord, cause it ain't nothing but Him pulling up to your door if they do any damn way. You know. That's how I see it, and I pray that's how He allowed me to keep seeing it. But nonetheless, that's how we're supposed to see it. That's according to scriptures. But anyway, this is Luke 21 and 22. For those days will be the days of punishment, to make come true all that the scriptures say. See, this whole event is going to bring forth everything. It's going to be used to help bring forth everything the scriptures say. You know, it's going to bring forth the fact that the Lord hate Esau. These heathens are nothing. We're above all people. You're not supposed to disobey the Lord being an Israelite. You're going to be punished for your sins. You know what I'm saying? Being an Israelite. The spiritual power. The Messiah coming back. The city's been everything the prophet said. The fact they can't get everybody. The fact Israel is going to bring forth the fact that Israel truly innumerable. They're going to be so surprised how many Jakes they have to round up, which they probably won't even be able to, because we innumerable, you know? But it says how terrible. So that's basically the point, man. It's fire. It says how terrible it will be in those days for women who are pregnant and for mothers with little babies. Terrible distress will come upon this land, and punishment will fall on this people. Exactly. Because it's Jacob's trouble. You know, and that's another point I want to make too, real quick. So while I'm here, because it said what? You got dumb ones out there be like, man, that already happened, man. That already happened. Well, I read how it said it wasn't gonna be any other day like that, right? Well, this is Jacob's trouble. This is Jeremiah 30, and listen to this. Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is even like it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man travail with child. Do men have babies? Give birth to babies, if you will, literally, like physically. You know, like women do? No. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loin, like he having a baby, as a woman in travail. See that? Like he having a baby. Like that's even possible. You're gonna see impossible things. The toughest so-called gangsters niggas is gonna, you know, the proudest, knew-it-all niggas is gonna be confounded and conflicted and scared in that day. Those that went against Yahweh Bashmi al-Shada, went against his prophets, so forth and so on. You niggas not nothing. You're gonna be confounded in that day when you see all this shit happen. It says, and all faces are turned into paleness. Exactly. Thinking this shit a game, thinking these devils was your friends. You know, thinking you can interracially date and all this bullshit. Your ass gonna die. It says, alas, for that day is great. Finally, right? That's what it means by alas. So that none is like it. So that tells you what? Those same things that happened then is gonna happen now. Because those same things were things that no man had ever witnessed, to where it was no day like it. Because who said that even completed? You know? Who said the sacking of Jerusalem truly completed? Because it clearly didn't. Because really, we the temple. So that would mean this sack is going to be worse than that one. You know? It says, it is even a time of Jacob. See, this time you can't flee into the coast of Africa. Because we stuck basically on a damn island in America. It says, it is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Yeah, but the elect is going to defy all that. So all this event is going to do is going to be used to bring forth all that the scriptures say. The Lord is going to really confound people. He's going to confound them. See that? For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh Bashmi Shah, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. So that's when that happens, that's the sign that we on our way out of here. That's the cup really being passed to Esau. A lot of Jake's gonna die in process of it. You know? Period. It's like the after effect of completely drinking something. The after effect is gonna be a lot of Jake's gonna die after we done took that, you know, as we're taking our last swallow of it, if you will, right now. You know? But yeah, man. We at that point we ain't slaves no more. You know? And that's heavy because a lot of Jakes mentally still slaves. So they would have to die in a time where we not to be slaves no more, because even if the Lord lived, let everybody go, we wouldn't be able to, Jake could still be in that goddamn Stockholm syndrome. Esau long gone, these niggas still slaves, so they gotta die. Because they don't even know they slaves. You know? Like you want to save them, but they got bit by the vampire, man. You know, like that movie Sinners and that whole concept of vampires, period. You know, when somebody get infected by something, they be like, man, just kill me. You know, like they still them, but they really not. They no longer any good. That's how it's gonna be. But not to be all deep, so let me go ahead and close this out. It says that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, talking about the so-called white man, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. See that? So that's basically it, man. And then the chip still gotta happen. So however that's gonna play out, that's that. But so coming back here, so that just proves, right, those type of days is coming back, because those days were said to be days no other day could compare to. But that's how Jacob's trouble, which hasn't happened yet at its pinnacle, is said to be too. So obviously it will consist of that. You know, it if Jacob's trouble is said to be, nothing can be compared to that. That means Jacob's trouble is gonna be worse than that. Worse than niggas being, in their home country and seized and sacked on and made to flee and kicked out of their homes and all that. It's gonna be Jacob's trouble is said to be worse than that. What could be worse than that if the same concepts and aspects of life still exist? If life still goes basically in the same way, just in a more evolved form. It's probably gonna be more the same sacking, but more extreme. You know what I'm saying? More people actually like taking out of their homes because there's more Israelites now, so forth and so on. It says, some will be killed by the sword, and others will be taken as prisoners to all countries. Yeah, they break the families up, so forth and so on. To keep you together, you never know. It says some will be killed by the sword, and others will be taken as prisoners to all countries. And the heathen will trample over Jerusalem until their time is up. Now, some be like, this happened already because, yeah, physically, Jerusalem is a place, but Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So if this happened physically to the place, is this over with yet if it hasn't happened physically to the people? No, because it says the heathen will trample over Jerusalem until their time is up. They're trampling over us right now. Look, they've been trampled over Jerusalem, and they still trampling over physical Jerusalem, the place as it is, as of right now. So that will even, cause obviously it continued until now. So they basically gonna keep trying. They're gonna be able to keep having our way with us. This is why they're gonna be able to come around Jacob and all of that until truly their time is up. Then they're not gonna be physically trotting over the physical land, nor what the land represents, which is the people, the actual Jerusalem. People go to Jerusalem to see Jerusalem, but Jerusalem is right in front of them in the Americas and so forth. So that's it. But niggas gonna see. Go ahead and close this out. It says, Trump escalates assault on Chicago with Operation Midway Blitz. It says DHS announced a new ICE operation targeting Chicago on Monday, days after President Trump likened his assault on the city to Vietnam War. See that? He compared what he trying to do to Vietnam, which is a damn war. We grab that too. Second Ezra 16 and 40. Listen to my message. This is in the GNT, my people, and get ready for the battle. When disasters come, you must live as people whose home is not in this world. Listen to my message, my people, and get ready for the battle. When disasters come, you must live as people whose home is not in this world. Exactly. And we can't make it up. Read on. Merchants must not expect to make a profit from what they sell. They must be ready to run for their lives. Their customers must expect to lose whatever they buy. Whoever builds a house, because you might be in the middle of it and the shit go down like that. We in the middle of a transaction. It's just giving you a visual, right? And you keep the change. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? This how we. So though we go to our day to day, we understand this bug under a sand clock, man. Basically, it says, whosoever builds a house shall not plan to live in it. See that? There's nothing wrong with these things, but it's knowing what the hell's to come. All right? So it says, anyone who makes, Salakia, it says, damn, let's keep going. Farmers shall not expect to harvest their crops or pick their grapes. Those who marry must not expect to have children. You might be in the middle, exactly, because just like then, women was pregnant. But if you already knew the sacking was coming, you probably knew, okay, I might not make it to the whatever the places of delivery was back then. You know, like today, you ain't gonna make it to the hospital, or you might not be able to get in the pool at home and have a damn home birth, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So just understand what's coming and know what's coming. It says, and those who don't marry must live as if they had been widowed. You know, you ain't gonna probably see a woman or a damn man and say everybody. Most of these motherfuckers about to die, man. It says anything that is done will be useless. You know, foreigners will harvest the crops, seize the wealth, tear down the houses, and carry off the children as slaves. Can't make it up. It says anyone who has children will be bringing them up to be slaves or die of starvation. That's the majority of these people. That's not talking about the elect. And even if you was to have children that's gonna go in the damn concentration camps, it ain't like Esau's. Like when the scriptures say when they children multiply, it is for the sword. It ain't for that. It's for a testimony. It's like the child that was born blind, so forth and so on. You know, anyone who makes money will do so only to see it violently take it away. The more possessions people gather, the more they spend on their cities and houses, the more attention they give to their personal appearance, the more angry the Lord will become with them because of their sins. This is what the Lord says. You know? So it's just it's the mentality, you know, that the Lord will have an issue with based off him saying and it being clear of what's about to happen. You see that? So that's pretty much it on it, man. Cause I could read, cause it's a spirit. Cause I was reading First Maccabees, and Esau was always doing this shit. He basically did this before. This nigga did this before the actual abomination of desolation physically took place, which again spiritually gonna take place again. Before Yahushua even walked, and that's First Maccabees 1:29. So 1:30 actually. This don't even got it. What? No, this shit, my bad. There we go. All right, so let's end this article. So yeah, Trump unleashes on ICE on Chicago with quote unquote Operation Midway Blitz. See that? And a blitz is when you come in unexpected, recklessly take down, like a football. It says the Department of Homeland Security. Now this is obviously talking about majority so-called who's known as so-called Latinos and shit like that, but the Northern Kingdom. But again, the children of Judah and Israel were pressed together. You know, so the same things that happened to them gonna happen to you damn so-called Negroes out there, man. But nonetheless, it says that the Department of he got this plan for everybody. He's gonna use a different means to try to get to us, and really in that means it's probably gonna be in that way when they get to the Negroes. It's probably gonna be some, you know, they too Christian or something like that. You know, they're gonna have a slick way of doing it to where it's made it's an issue. And I'm gonna close out First Maccabees. So it says the Department of Homeland Security (DHS) has initiated a new operation, ICE operation, dubbed quote unquote Operation Midway Blitz, targeting Chicago. This announcement comes shortly after President Trump draws parallels between his aggressive tactics and combating crime in the city, and the Vietnam War. So he said this is going to be like a war. That sounds like prophecies. It says intensifying the debate surrounding immigration enforcement and local enforcement collaborations. The sources, as you can see, the Intercept. You know? So this thing gonna go down, man. All right? And this came out pretty much, in the last couple of days because they update these, but September 6th, updated September 8th. Today is the 9th. And that's pretty much it. Apocalypse Now. It says the announcement came 2 days after President Trump posted an AI generated image on Truth Social depicted himself. So he posted this picture of himself. Like they not fucking around. It says, but the Lord ain't either. He don't realize what he even doing. It says because remember this event is gonna bring forth all the scriptures. It says Lieutenant Colonial Bill Kilgore from Francis Ford Coppola's 1979 Vietnam War Apocalypse Now. In the film, Kilgore, an Air Cavalry Regiment commander who refers to Vietnamese people with a number of vile slurs. Crazy. It says annihilates a village to secure a beach for surfing. See, they want to continue in their vacation and whatnot, but they can't do that because Jake here and living their lives. So now the lives they want is ending and being compromised. Cause so this is why they doing it. This is how you know their world ended. But it says Trump's AI image was captured with a riff on the character's most famous line. Quote unquote, I love the smell of deportations in the morning. So they studied in this wicked shit they on, you know? So I'm gonna end this here. First Maccabees 1:29. 2 years later in the GNT, Antiochus sent a large army from Mysa against the towns of Judah. When the soldiers entered Jerusalem, their commander spoke to the people, offering them terms of peace and completely deceiving them. Then he suddenly launched a fierce attack on the city, dealing it a major blow and killing many of the people. See that? He plundered the city, set it on fire, tore down its buildings and walls. He and his army took the women and children as prisoners and seized the cattle. So obviously the men was fighting. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of these goddamn women better shut the fuck up, man, and get in damn order now. You know? And what the hell you think they're gonna try to do to y'all in there? You know? So you got people all damn in this la-la land thinking everybody love them, thinking you get a pass, out of shape, so forth and so on. You know? So this is what happened back then. This is the same thing that's gonna happen now. The scriptures say that she that is my enemy shall see these. Now she shall be trodden down as mire in the street. You know? Rape y'all ass and throw y'all bodies in the street. You know what I'm saying? Foul ass, funky ass devils. You know? Or just might kill your ass on the spot. You know? Showing you and your people ain't shit. You and your children ain't shit. You nothing. You know? Humiliate you in front of your children. The daddy got put to death. Or the nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be bad, man. But again, this gonna bring forth all the scriptures, like I said. You know? So if the Lord clearly has this happen as we see, and it's coming to pass as we see, right? Ain't he gonna do the rest of the stuff? You ain't gonna see men working, you know, the men of the Lord we in the lab working on spirit bombs, and I got one put up in the heart. That's the stuff unseen. That's gonna happen in a moment. You know, so forth and so on. You know? And even if you don't get that shit, we ready to die. Cause we better than these people. You know? I'm not bowing to a man more unworthy than me. It ain't happening. A call Halam La Yahweh Bashmi Shah, double honors to the apostles and elder of the great millstone church and the rest of the elders and the elder bishops and the rest of the elders at Akim as well. Till next time, Shalom.